Hey, thanks for giving my little channel a shot. Enjoy. I've spent something like a year in my life on this thing. Now, I didn't spend the whole year building it, obviously, but over the course of a year, it was a lot of evenings and weekends and countless hours spent building this thing up in survival. And I actually didn't pre-plan this in creative aside from this part right here and a little bit of like general like size figuring it out. But over the course of that year, a little more like a year and a half, I feel like I've learned a lot of things, and I want to share with you those things that I've learned while building up Hogwarts here. And obviously it's not done. I still gotta, but I haven't done a non-elytra tour of this thing. And I find that doing a tour without elytra is actually a little bit more fun because it just seems so much bigger and harder to get around. I did get some stone prepared, but I just want to walk around this thing, give a little tour, and tell you some things that I learned. And the first thing that I learned over this year of building is that you can make some huge progress in a year while also making tons of mistakes. This thing is not without its mistakes. And you kind of have to learn to embrace those mistakes because if you don't, it can easily become a little too difficult to be proud of your work. And also, mistakes add a little bit of character. And in Minecraft, those mistakes allow you to kind of like understand your work and... Oh, no, there's a mistake. And also, it adds a little bit of character, like I was saying. And basically, like, you can adapt what you're doing as you go because of those mistakes. Now, there's some mistakes I want to talk about later that I wish I wouldn't have made and how I can fix those in the future. And I know this looks very stony. It's because it's a terrain, like it's not natural terrain here. And we're going to be changing the color of this. I just wanted to do it out of stone to figure out the shape first. So yes, a lot of these are going to have more texture in these blocks. Even like the wall here is not going to be straight up stone. But holy cow. Takes you a while to walk up this, doesn't it? That's actually wild. One of the huge mistakes that I made that I remember and decided to just roll with was this right here. So originally, this was meant to be not too wide, but I had already built a big chunk here and a big chunk here. It took me a couple of days, and I was like, well, it's even. I guess we live and learn, huh? It's odd the other direction, but this direction, as you can see, there's 2 blocks on the rooftops, and that's because it is unfortunately an even build in that direction. So kind of a weird thing that you know, you just learn to go with, and honestly at the scale it's at anyway, you can't really tell or care. But welcome to the Great Hall. This is the Great Hall courtyard. I should probably fill this in. My friends and I were playing a little bit of spleef in the floor. As you can see, it's a little bit of a mess. I still have a bit of a mess here as well because 1, I'm not done building, and 2, I got lazy and didn't clean up all my messes. But I love this courtyard. This spot right here makes Hogwarts feel ginormous. It's kind of crazy actually. But the next thing is that you can actually accomplish a lot more than you're capable of. You just have to start and be dedicated. I honestly had the idea for Hogwarts. Once again, there's so much unfinished here. But I didn't really know that it was going to turn out like this. I just kind of trusted myself and thought if I work hard enough, I think I might be able to do something pretty cool. We're going to have to go check out that clock tower later. That's one of my favorite views, actually, of Hogwarts. And obviously, there's issues here, right? Like, this is so unfinished, and we have a long way to go left. Farther than a year, for sure. But it feels so cool. Like, you can feel the survival pain in every block. I think that's what's so cool about survival is that you can actually feel the work that was put into it, and it's a wild experience, right? This is pretty cool, actually. This is the tower, and this is one of those mistakes I was talking about earlier. I did this wrong. I did the whole staircase the wrong shape, so we're actually going to redo this staircase. It's supposed to be more of like not quite so square and more of a rectangle, and so we're gonna have to fix that. But let's go to the top because I'm curious what it looks like up here. I also like added some oh please don't knock me off. I don't have a light right now. Oh my, there's a creeper. yeah, maybe we shouldn't go out there. This is dangerous, clearly, but I do want to take a peek out the window. Hey, look at that. That's a cool view, right? That's so cool. I haven't ever like looked out that window in so long since I built this, basically. Oakley! I'm dead. Oh. All right, well, welcome to the next part of the tour. So I mined out all of this down here so that I could light it up more evenly and not have as many mobs spawning down here. So that's why it's kind of like square. You can kind of see the terrain I built up, right? That's pretty cool. But yeah, when you just start on a build and you just make progress, it's actually crazy the things that you can accomplish. The hardest part is starting, 100%. Just getting going. And I know some people fizzle out, but I think for me, like, I just found this dedication inside me that made it easier to just keep going. Now we'll have to get up there in a little bit. Actually, we'll go see this later. Let's actually get up right here. That's a good spot to continue the tour. But yeah, this is what it looks like underneath Hogwarts. Ow. That was rude. Sorry, you can probably hear my nephews in the background. If you're having a hard time starting, I think the best thing you can do is just kind of commit to something little every day. For me, that's how I accomplish things. I just say, I want to do these epic things, but when you think about it in that way, it's very demotivating, very difficult to get going. There's a lot of more details I want to do in here, obviously. And for me, I just say, as long as I work on my video every day, then I'll be happy. Just do a little bit. Just do the tiniest amount you can possibly do. And that's okay. And you know what? Building that habit created my ability to actually make some real progress. And I just want you guys to understand, and I'm still not perfect in being consistent or anything, but I feel like I truly, definitely my nephew's in the background. I truly have this huge love and desire for making content and building cool things, beautiful things. And yeah, so I think really just me committing to just doing something every day, just a little bit, has unlocked my potential. It's weird how far I've actually made progress. Hello, Hedwig. Hedwig is always mad at me. He's never, there we go. You just need to be a little more friendly, my dude. You can't be looking at the wall all the time, okay? Yeah, I know you're mad at me for leaving you here, but listen, this is your home. It's Hogwarts. And then that brings me to the third thing that I've learned throughout my time building this build for over a year. And that is that it's easy to get lazy, especially when it comes to detailing. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but it's easy to want to do a big thing and just start a little piece of it and not really do something that you're proud of, right? And what I mean by that is it's easy to just put a wall in and call it good enough. And to me, like, putting in a little more effort when you have that energy to is so important because it allows for greater details. It allows for, and it's actually funny in this build, you can see parts where I got lazy and you can see parts where I felt very motivated to do detailed things. I'll show you some examples in a little bit. And so I think you got to understand sometimes that it's okay to feel that way sometimes. That's kind of the part of the creative process. But the more often that you can find yourself in that kind of less lazy, more vibrant state of mind, it's actually crazy how much that can improve what you're doing and how much that can impact the progress you make and the quality of the progress you make. For instance, this area right here and these towers, kind of hard. You can't see much from here. This is why Elytra is so good. But you know what? Let's just pillar up here. As you can see, there's tons of details in this. And this was obviously a moment when I was feeling much more inspired about the work I was doing. And it led me to do some really cool things. Also that, I really love how those are turning out. I still got to build more, but I mean, since we're up here, we should just go over to here actually. I think the reason, this is interesting, I actually stopped using shaders for a while because it was helping me lean into my laziness, especially with Hogwarts. Thing is, when you turn on shaders, everything looks a little better, a little more shaded, a little more intricate, just more aesthetic, especially this tower right here. This is my tower of laziness, and I'll show you why. I did the same block all the way from here up to there. And while the tower is overall a really cool looking tower, and I'll show you, I personally think it looks really cool, having shaders on allowed me to like totally just forget what I was trying to do with this Hogwarts. It was like, okay, as long as I put the structure there, it looks cool, which is somewhat true, but I don't know. That's why I actually stopped using shaders lately. I like shaders. I love them actually, and I'll turn them on to view a finished product. But when I'm designing and thinking about a build, I have decided to stop using them, and for most of my playtime, stop using them. Because it allows me to think instead with shadows and color and building. And I think that's a really important part, at least to my current style of building, which is I'm trying to think of Minecraft like art these days. And so that's just like important for me to approach it that way, is like, how do I really do this? Here, I'm going to use a little free cam real quick so you can see what I mean. And that defeats the purpose of the no Elytra tour. See, that's laziness right there. That was me in real time being like, hey, it's fine. You could be lazy a little bit sometimes. But when we're doing a no Elytra tour, why would we fly? Yeah, see, look, wow. Creative solutions are everywhere. I could have just jumped down, walked right over here, and boom. That's a good view. Don't let yourself get too lazy. It's really easy, and shaders make that more so for me. So it's up to you on how. Obviously, I'm not saying don't use shaders. I think shaders are beautiful. I love them. But just keep in mind the effects of what you're doing. Let's see if we can make this jump. Oh, I did not. Oh, but I made that one. That was actually perfect. Now we can get over here onto the next. Dude, that was so lucky. What the? There's something about playing without elytra sometimes that is just so scary and so fun, dude. I would have died if I fell the rest of the way down there. That's crazy. This courtyard's turned out pretty cool. I like it. So anyway, those are my 3 things that I learned while spending a year building this, and obviously it's still a long way to go. We have a lot more to accomplish here, but one of the big mistakes I made was I had to rebuild this wall and this wall like 3 times. I kept putting them in the wrong spots for how I wanted this whole thing to fit together. It just felt so weird. And so yeah, huge mistakes equal loss of time, and it's really unfortunate. So anyway, number 1 thing I've learned is you can make huge progress in an amount of time, and you can also make lots of mistakes, and that's okay. That's part of the process. And number 2, you will accomplish way more than you think you are capable of, as long as you start and you keep going. And for me, starting means just doing a little bit, just enough to get going. And then the last one, it's easy to get lazy. It's a beautiful thing. It actually is a beautiful thing if you take a step back and think about your art in this way, where it's like, wow, what are my biggest takeaways? And those are mine. So thanks, guys. That was fun, but I'm flying away. Also, I feel like there are certain views of Hogwarts you can get when you're flying that you couldn't otherwise get. So yeah, what a beautiful place. Elytra have their place too. Like I said, balance.